Tilly, Percy, and the Bull. Told by the new storyteller for the MillanToonChannel. In the railways of Crotoonia, everyone was working on taking every train of goods that's to be delivered to the shops. This day was sunny and there wasn't any cloud in the sky, so nothing would trouble their wheels, except they all had to look at anything stuck on the line. One engine had been mended and was filled with water after a mistake at the harbour. Tilly, the little blue engine, was taking goods to the shops and stone to a construction site. As she arrived at the construction site, delivering the stone, she saw Farnsworth, who was also delivering the same stuff. "Morning, Tilly. Doing what big trains do?" said he. "Yes, I am," said Tilly. "This stone was ordered from Australia. After I'm finished with this job, I'm to find some place to—" Tilly paused for a minute. She didn't want anyone to know what she was to look for. The big engines would mock her if they find whatever it was hidden somewhere in Crotoonia. I'll just get a drink," she said, steaming off. She only sneaked away from the construction site because Mrs. Eller was walking up to see the delivery. "Oh dear," said Tilly. "I don't want her to know about what quiet place I'm tied in." There wasn't any other jobs to do, so went looking away from the town. Just away from the town was a mountain. None of the engines in Crotoonia ever went up it, except one that knows it. It was called Mount Sterling, and it's Tilly's favorite place to hide. As Tilly arrived at the mountain, she stopped to look around if anyone was around. She knew everyone didn't know about it, and neither would Mrs. Eller. But she wasn't alone. She invited a friend who also finished with day's work, and it was Percy the small engine. "Hello, Tilly. What are you doing here?" "This is our secret mountain, Percy. We're to hide in it, but don't let anyone see us. They'll get cross." "Oh, this is so exciting. We could find a place to find what's to sight. Follow me, we'll catch it. But if Farnsworth comes about near the mountain, we just hide behind the trees." "Oh, shh! Do you hear him?" "No, that's just Gordon and Montana passing." The trees covered them, so the main line couldn't be seen from them. All the big engines, even the points were covered. "Okay, let's go." Tilly and Percy began climbing up the mountain. The line went up and around showing a wonderful view. Oh, how they enjoyed it. At last, they came to the top and went into a forest. That was where the sighting was to begin. Whee! Tilly shouted when they came to a slope. Whee! Shouted Percy. Mind that branch. Oh, points! Uh-oh. They need to be switched. Look out! Percy bumped into Tilly, causing her to slip into a siding with a bush full of snow. Oh no! Crash! Ow! Oh! Ow! Oh! Oh, that was a cold crash. Sorry, Tilly. You all right? Still on the rails, but a little cold from falling snow, Percy. I hope no one heard the noise. Back in the shed of the engine yard, everyone was resting, finished with their day's work. Mrs. Eller was checking the engines if they were in the berths. When she checked in the last ones, she realized that 2 engines were missing. Where's Percy and Tilly? She asked the engines. They should have got home. No one knew where they were, but Harold came landing outside the shed. I know where they went to, ma'am. They went to Mount Sterling, he said. We weren't told about it before, said Mrs. Eller. Can you take me to it? Of course. Climb aboard. So they set off to find them. Percy and Tilly, meanwhile, came to the end of the line with what was a perfect sight. In front of them was a field with a bull. That's what I was wanting to see with you, Percy, said Tilly. It's old Grut. He's been living in the mountain for years and is always out walking. Ooh, he's a big bull, said Percy. But he looks kind of sick. His skin isn't thick, just thin. He's thin? Said Tilly. I reckon we could phone a vet. All of a sudden, they heard some buzzing. Is there a swarm of bees buzzing round? Said Tilly. No, it's Harold, said Percy. I don't think we can stay here. Let's run home. They quickly left the top of Mount Sterling, going back down the way they came. Once on the bottom, they went running back to the shed. There's Harold, said Tilly. Let's get him away from our secret place. Harold was surprised to see the little engines running away. What are they doing? Asked Mrs. Eller. They're running home, said Harold. Hey, why is there a bull running out of the mountain top? Old Grut was a friend of Tilly's. He wanted to keep their secret spot safe, so as to not let anyone find it. Tilly and Percy were running towards the town when they heard clip-clopping. To their surprise, they found the bull running after them. They pulled in a siding, stopping to give him a lift. God can't run a mile when he's sick, said Tilly. What shall we do, Percy? There's a truck. We can use it to take him to the vet, said Percy. So they put the bull on the truck, then continued on again. When they came to the town, they found the vet, but waiting with it was Harold and Mrs. Ella. What are you two doing out so long, Tilly? She asked. Harold was about to find Mount Sterling, but you ran out. Tilly and Percy looked at each other. They knew the manageress would ask about their secret hideout. They looked at old Grudge, still sick. Then looked at Mrs. Ella. We went visiting Mount Sterling when we finished our jobs, ma'am, said Tilly. Our purpose is we were sharing it between ourselves. We don't want you to know about the quiet spot, otherwise the big engines would mock me, she went on. Anyway, we brought in this bull. He's sick and needs the vet to look at it, put in Percy. I understand your feelings of a secret, said Mrs. Ella. But what we don't know about the mountain is when it's not told to us, but you told me and Harold first. Every engine has to tell the truth of what it gets up to. Leave the bull for now, and you can take it back when he's better. Tilly and Percy came home to the shed. Well, you two. Been hiking to something at the top? Said Farnsworth. Yes, we have, said Tilly. There's a forest that we visit, but it's not for you to visit. Why should we go up it? We're too heavy for mountain. Only you little engines would climb it, said Farnsworth. What about that bull? Said Gordon, Henry and James. Old Grudge's taken to the vet, said Percy. Only he can run up the mountain. That's some help to Mother Nature, said James. We understand your visit to Mount Sterling. Maybe you can invite Casey Jr. to look at the top with you. He hasn't been up there, so we might, said Tilly. We brought a bucket of snow with us. It can melt to water. Mrs. Ella didn't ask you about filling up with water, but that's a clever way to keep your tank full, said Gordon. Tilly and Percy brought the bull home the next day. He got off the truck and ran up the round slopes. We'll visit it when we finish doing your job of the post train, Percy, said Tilly. Where are you taking it? Why, to Thomas's new branch line, of course, Tilly, said Percy. We can make a present for Mrs. Ella by taking a photo of the forest top. That will get her knowing it better. Great idea, said Tilly. I can make a map of it to go on the ceiling of the shed." They giggled as they went back to find the post train. The end. This audition for the MillanToonChannel has been recorded by Barnhouse Company. I hope you like it, Millan,